If you haven't seen the news already, I think even if you don't play Smash, you should care about this. And if you're a Smash fan at all, it's incredibly dire. The short summary of what happened is that the Smash World Tour is a tour that existed for Super Smash Bros. Melee, going alongside the Panda Cup, 2 tours happening. The CEO of Panda Global, to our knowledge, nuked the relationships between many of the different TOs and the Smash World Tour by essentially like strong-arming them and saying, hey, you know, if you join the Smash World Tour, you're not going to get licensed, or you're not going to be allowed to have your event next year, or you could be in big trouble. You got to go join the Panda events, huh? You want to get in trouble and then Big N, Nintendo's going to hate you? You want problems? On some real fake Nintendo Mafia shit. And try to do that with BTS about tournament streaming rights. So Beyond the Summit, BTS, not the internationally acclaimed Going to the Army K-pop band. Essentially, Panda using their relationship with Nintendo to push everybody else and just be like, hey, join our circuit, don't do Smash World Tour stuff, etc. While simultaneously Smash World Tour is like, dude, we just want to get licensed and run the events the correct way. Can we just talk to Nintendo? Can like we just be cool? And Nintendo's like, guys, don't worry. My buddy Nate Rock and me, we love you guys. You're on the right track. That CEO guy, he doesn't speak for us. It's not a problem. Meanwhile, constantly they're getting shit on behind the scenes. So it's pretty bad. In all accounts, and eventually leads to them getting canceled. I saw someone saying like, you know, I don't know, they should have just submitted earlier to get everything finalized. They submitted for the finals 8 months before. Like, I don't think people understand how late things normally run. Submitting something 8 months in advance is absurd. It's ridiculous how early they were. There's lots of other problems too. Stuff like how Panda didn't want Panda and Smash World Tour events to be at the same event. They wanted to keep them separate, but then once Panda lost a lot of tournaments, they decided, well, let's just like, you know, partner up and have some events at the same time. Lots of those events that they did that with getting licensed fairly easily, while Smash World Tour just struggled to make it happen. There was an update last night, if you guys missed it. Essentially, Nintendo came out and said in a Kotaku article, we never said that they needed to cancel their event. Like, we didn't tell them, hey, you have to cancel the event that's coming up. And a lot of people were like, and the Smash World Tour replied, they had their own rebuttal, and it was like, hey, well, they didn't say exactly your event must be canceled. But instead they said, well, if you don't have a license, your event can't run, and no, you can't have a license. I think we all understand what that means, right? That's the same thing? Yes. They say, we alluded to how the last year functioned in that capacity without a license, right? With the mutual understanding that we would not get shut down and focus on the future. We were told directly that those times are now over. Those times of you running without a license are now over. The energy is very clear. It's like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That is true that the big house got C&D'd. Like, it was last year, right? Because the same thing happened to them in regards to Nintendo. You know, when I first saw Panda getting the Smash Tour with Nintendo, there was like 2 responses, right? The first one was like, wow, that is really cool. Like, that's a chance for that bridge to be built. The other side of it was like, if it doesn't work out, it has a chance to make things really bad. This is pretty bad. And I think if you're not a Smash fan, right, this should still make you pretty upset for a lot of reasons. One, all of our games, whether it's fighting games or you like any other game, operates in this capacity on a competitive circuit as like a streaming, YouTube, etc. circuit, stuff that we all enjoy. All of that operates off the goodwill of the developer and publisher of the game. If a company said, okay, you're just not allowed to stream our game or do tournaments for our game anymore, it could happen. You guys probably remember there was something very similar with Capcom. They came out and basically said, hey, if you want to run tournaments for our game, you need a license, and these are the ways to get a license. These are the guidelines. And they were dreadful. They were really, really, really bad. Everybody was super upset with Capcom and came at them, and Capcom was like, whoa. Hey, we don't want you to not run grassroots event. We fucked up. Let's like fix our rules so that everybody can just be approved and everything's okay. Like, we don't want to ruin the grassroots event. That's our bad. And in fact, the Capcom Pro Tour, their circuit is built off using tournament organizers from all over the world who run tournaments and just stamping the Pro Tour events on top of their events. So to say, oh, you're already running Combo Breaker? All right, we'll make Combo Breaker a CPT event. You have the event and everything. We'll give it the old stamp of approval and work together on this, right? Or EVO or whatever it is. At any point, let's say I wanted to run a tournament, Daisuke could just knock on my door and be like, you can't run Guilty Gear there without a license. And a license is going to cost you $50,000. It's perfectly within their rights to do that. That's the thing to understand. Lots of people are like, can't they sue Nintendo? Can't they do this? Can't they do that? You could try. but this is their game. And this is what people are afraid of. If you are a content creator, a professional player, a team owner, anything that works within the scene, a tournament organizer, it is very scary to do this kind of stuff because at any point they could show up and just rip the tablecloth out from under you and be like, you can't do that anymore. As just like a general fighting game person, I am always concerned that this will happen. It's the opposite for basically every other company in the world besides Nintendo, though, and that they understand that all of these events and things are marketing for their game. That, gets you interested in watching or playing or caring about these games again. We have it so much better than anybody who plays Smash. Nintendo is notoriously archaic in every single way. We've been really lucky that it's the opposite, where they want to work with our grassroots events and tournaments, and everything's been, for the most part, running in that kind of capacity for a while. It's like very rare that things are getting shut down or there's problems or whatever. I know I did see TK Breezy on stream booted up the job application, was like, all right, guys. I feel like every time something bad happens, TK is somehow, he just gets sideswiped. Every interaction I've ever had with him has also always been good. And then every single time he gets smoked. As long as the Panda involvement is true for what this article says, and it's been corroborated a few times so far, but there's been no Panda statement or anything yet. That is super bad because they're obviously involved in every fighting game. So who knows what kind of conversations they've had about any other game at any other point with any other developer or publisher or esports team on any given place. That is pretty bad. By the way, I don't blame a single person who's a content creator at Panda because I'm a normal human. But boy, imagine their Twitter feeds and their streams the last day and a half. I think actually Gina's reaction was accurate. I think this is a pretty good summary of what my reaction would be if I woke up and saw what was happening. I would probably also tweet this. I'd be like, well, the PG situation is especially bad because even if you read it in the kindest way for them, it really reads as them just being so focused on getting what's theirs that they would be happy to step on and destroy everything else involved in the scene along the way. Now, obviously, if you're Nintendo and your only person you're making a relationship with is Panda and the entire community is fuck Panda, I'll never work with them again. Nintendo's all right, well, fuck all of you guys. You guys want to play our game? You guys only create problems. Fuck you guys. And then who's going to be the next person to run an event? I would not. Imagine being a TO for Smash right now. I would not be all right, guys, 2023 is our year. Maybe you get lucky and they don't decide to C&D you and you can run the event without a license, or you can try and get a license and they'll let you. But who's to say they just ghost you, don't give you a license, you spend money trying to run the event, and now you're in the hole for hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, right? I don't know. That shit is terrifying. If you're a regular TO, it's already scary to run tournaments anyway. And I mean, you have to understand Nintendo doesn't give a fuck. If you think that this would bother them at all, in 2013 when they said Evo can't stream Melee made it into Evo by raising money for breast cancer awareness. They said, no, you can't run it. Oh, you raise money for charity? Well, get fucked. You can't run it. They ended up going back on it eventually, but they've C&D'd and stopped all kinds of other shit from happening, and they just don't care. Sometimes they'll go back, but most of the time they're just whatever. Instead of capitalizing on any of it at all, they see it as an absolute problem. Part of the problems they've had with tournaments over the pandemic, Slippy. I'm sure you guys are familiar. Mod that allows you to play Smash Melee online with rollback, right? And it has lots of other great quality of life features and stuff in it too. Nintendo might get pissed about that. They don't want you to use a modded version of the game. They're really weird about that. Arc System Works hired 2 different people who were trying to make rollback happen for their games. They just hired them and was like, hey, you want to make rollback happen for Plus R and Exert and BBCF? You have Harada and Daisuke and the producer and director of Street Fighter and people from the companies going to Evo and other events to say hi and talk on stage and be involved in stuff. Imagine being a developer and you're in the arena at Evo and people are screaming and excited watching your game and then being like, I need to stop this. Yeah, Nintendo does not fuck with the competitive scene at all. They do not want the competitive scene around. It's pretty clear in the way they handle everything. They're just not a fan. Nintendo's been like this for a long time though, and I don't know what it would take to change. Even this outcry now, it's maybe they're I guess you can run it, whatever. And you run some tournament or some event. Then next year they're oh, you're using Slippy? See, indeed. Yeah, I'm really unsure about what happens if BTS also has a rocky relationship with them. If it nukes Summit, yeah, people are gonna be really pissed. This is what sucks. It's their game, right? And they have the precedent to do this. I can't imagine what the Panda like response will be, question mark. Like all I said was they don't want to end up like old Tony in the river with the cinder block slippers. You know what I'm saying? They could join my event. That's all. Like some shit like that. I don't know. What is the statement going to be? They should ask Punk. That would be, imagine if like Panda's statement is just a video of Punk at the press conference. Yeah, if you're signed to Panda Global right now, it's gotta be a weird day. Imagine like you're like, all right, I gotta film the video for the PG YouTube today. Today we're gonna try and do some combo trials. Like, all right. Oh, it's gotta be bad. Listen. Have you ever met Alan? I have. A few times, including the time where I got asked to join PG a few years ago. Glad you didn't decide to work with Panda. Yeah, I don't think I fit their style anyway. I like Moste, and I like the stuff I do. I'm not loud enough, and I don't like making fearless. It's like someone tried to hire me for like a BlazBlue tournament commentary. I'd be like, I don't think this is the right, like it doesn't make sense.